Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very first inaugural show here of Manifest Destiny with my friend here, Meg Moonbeam. You can find her work, of course, at MAISONJupiter.com on the web, and also on YouTube at Maison Jupiter and Beyond Mystic. Meg, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I have to say, this week has been difficult with all of these production shows during this Mercury retrograde. So I'm getting all of the technical issues, and at the same time, for some reason, I can't speak. What the hell's going on,
Yeah.
Meg? And I'm sure a lot of other audience members are feeling the same way here. They're feeling the jitteriness and perhaps the confusion that comes with this retrograde. But there's good news in all of this here in terms of the alignment. Let's start there. What's going on physically here in our realm for this week and next week also? Meg, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, thank God today Mars went direct. So that's going to help us all feel a little bit more physically filled with life force and drive. And do you hear an echo right now, JC?
No, but I'll mute myself. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, Mars is the planet of our energy and life force and assertion. So it's been going retrograde, moving retrograde for the past 2.5 months. And a lot of people have been sick. I don't know about you guys, but like everyone around me has gotten sick. I got sick at one point. A lot of people just feeling drained and tired. And so good news today, Mars went direct. And so our physical bodies are going to be feeling a lot better. Now we just need Mercury to go direct too, which is going to happen next week. So we can all speak clearly and be able to do all those communication things we need to do. It's a funny time when they're both retrograde.
Absolutely. And guys, if you want to have a little bit more on what Meg just said here, go check out her first show of the year here on Beyond Astro. This is going to be a brand new weekly Astro forecast series, and it's going to be every Wednesday at noon. For now, we're pre-recording them, but we'll eventually move to having these live for you guys here as we readjust Meg's personal booking schedule here for the month. Let's talk about that, Meg. Since the show we did in December, you've caught on like wildfire here in the Beyond Mystic community. You're fully booked here for the next 2 or 3 months. What are people saying? And first of all, what's your impression of the Beyond Mystic community? What are you getting from all of this here in the last couple of weeks? Start there.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, it's been such a whirlwind since that show and connecting with so many amazing like-minded people. And like I've shared with you and Julie and Sophie, that so many of the community of Beyond Mystic and Maison Jupiter are really advanced when it comes to conscious work, holistic work, spirituality. A lot of the people having consultations with me so far are into like higher healing technologies that are getting invented, which I don't know a whole lot about that stuff. I'm an astrologer and a sound healer and all that. So hearing about med beds and Rife machines and so many people are really getting into that and really starting to share that. That's been super cool. And just hearing everybody's stories, seeing everybody energetically, everyone's amazing. I love all you guys.
I think they love you too, judging by the chat room right now, and of course all the emails we've been getting here since you started doing the one-on-one consultations. What seems to be the overarching theme, other than yes, they're very spiritually evolved, and we're happy about that. The work that we're doing together, we're all on this road to self-mastery here. But what's the overwhelming theme you're getting? What do people tell you when they first communicate with you, whether it's about the Beyond Mystic community or where they're at in your path? Is there a theme that's coming out here?
Yeah, a lot of us want to know that we're on the right track and that what we're feeling from our heart's desires and also our mind is what's in alignment for our highest good and the highest good of all. And that's why I love astrology, because it's so fascinating I always, before a consultation, make notes. And then when I start to hear people's stories, there's a lot of times I've already written down things that they've said, like it's all in the stars, it's all in the astrology. So most people are in alignment because it's just feeling, from your heart, what you're into and what your natural passions are, guys, is what you're supposed to be here doing. And that does reflect in the astrology. So whatever it is that you're feeling the most passionate about, that is you being on the right track. And so I noticed that as a big theme. And then also people just kind of concerned about finances and all that stuff going on at this time, you know, their resources, where they should be living, all that kind of stuff. So that's been
Right.
a really big theme as well.
Okay. Well, and of course, there's a lot of changes happening in our realm. We're going to get
Yeah.
to all of that here too. We just did the Astro Woo show for the month of January, the Crypto Woo, as well as your Astro Decode. And we all appear to be saying the same thing here, picking up either from the tarot or the astrology, even the remote viewers here, looking at perhaps the end of January as a start of something here that leads us into perhaps March for the bigger, crazier changes. And then the
Mhm.
video you did yesterday, people were kind of taken aback because you said something to the effect that maybe January and February were our last 2 months of normalcy, and a lot of people say
Mhm.
normalcy. So
Mhm.
that kind of sets the stage here for what we might be seeing in March. One of the
Mhm.
big things there is prepping for all of this and finding some pockets of downtime so that we can recharge here, because it very much seems like the universe is manifesting destiny for us here, and it's going to create more and more of these events for change and these catalysts for change here. So it's very important for the audience members to find time for themselves here. Why don't we focus on that a little bit here
Yeah.
too? We've been so busy in the last 2-3 years, the people in this community, helping the people around us, doing these videos, talking about it at dinner when the family wasn't ready, all these things. But right now, is it time to continue doing that, or do we need to do a little bit more self-care here? Let's dive into that a little bit here tonight before we get into how we want to work collectively to manifest our destiny.
Mhm. I've been feeling that actually so strongly for the past few days. Before we even talked about, you know, what do we want to talk about on this show today on Manifest Destiny, I was really feeling the collective. And actually, even right now, I can feel it in my stomach, just being here with you, JC, and everyone that's watching, all of us in community together. I can feel it in my stomach that we've taken on so much in the past 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be a time of pause and integration. Because yes, when it comes to March, after I did the weekly forecast, I watched it back a couple times and I was reading everybody's awesome comments and I was kind of giving myself a little bit of feedback and reflection on it.
Mm-hmm.
And another way to describe what we're stepping into in March is it's going to be similar to December of 2012. Okay. Remember the Mayan prophecy of December of 2012? And some people thought the world was going to end. If you were conscious or awake at that time or in the spiritual community, that was right when my spiritual awakening, if you will, was happening. A lot of people genuinely thought we were going to ascend to 5D and that was going to be the day, you know, we were going to leave our physical bodies, all this stuff. And, you know, that didn't happen. And what it actually was the start of that next phase of the Mayan calendar, which I don't specialize in, but I am into Mayan astrology a lot. But it wasn't like December 21st, 2012, this huge event happened. And then, you know, we're catalyzed into a new space. It was just an energetic shift. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's what's going to be happening in March is there probably will be some events that happen, big world events, but it's going to be more of an energetic thing
Mm.
where it's just not going to feel the same anymore. Um, and I keep getting it's going to feel like we're in the future. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you care to put a little bit more meat around those bones here? Because
Hmm.
for the audience members who have been following the WebBot data reports for a number of years, we have this term in our mind, crossing the line into sci-fi world. This is what Cliff High has been talking about. Now, in order for us to cross there in a physical plane and have all of this technology come out, it would presume that we also need to make this quantum leap here in terms of consciousness. How do you
Hmm.
see that playing out? We did talk about some of these alignments here in the last Astro Woo show, guys. You can go check it out here. It's on BeyondMystic.net. We've decoded all of these per zodiac signs for the year of 2023. So no longer are we doing the 12 signs in one episode. So you can go there and download your specific either sun sign or rising sign. So go check that out, how those alignments are going to affect you. But what do you think, Meg, is going to happen here in terms of first that quantum shift in our consciousness that
Hmm.
leads us into kind of rebuilding this new humanity towards the age of sci-fi world?
Hmm. It's going to be a really fast quantum shift. As soon as Pluto goes into Aquarius, So that's one of the things happening in March.
Yeah.
And Saturn goes into Pisces on March 7th. So I can't remember off the top of my head what the exact date is for Pluto going into Aquarius. I think it's later on in March, but Saturn goes into Pisces March 7th. And Pisces is the sign that rules the spiritual world, the spiritual realm. And Saturn is the most grounded planet. It's our governments, it's our structures of life. So we're not going to be feeling a foundation and a stability until Saturn goes out of Pisces in 2026. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons why astrologers keep saying 2026 is a really pivotal year. There's a lot of different transits, planets that are going to be changing around then. And up until then, we're really in this transition time where it is going to be like fast quantum shift. You were using that word, quantum shift, of changes, of being in like a sci-fi world, because Pluto, the planet of transformation and detoxification, the ruler of Scorpio, when he goes into Aquarius, which rules science fiction and technology and transhumanism, that is going to come right up into our faces before we can go into the good part, the good part, the happy part of the age of Aquarius. We have to deal with the shadow first.
Right.
So,
and all of that is in earnest coming out right now. We're seeing it in the news.
We are seeing
every day. Yeah. And of course, the transition here towards freedom of speech at Twitter is also opening up a hell of a can of worms here. What was transpiring behind the scenes there for the last number of years. So yeah, that's really fascinating. As we're talking about this, you're making me think of something here. Let me go up and see if I can find the video. This is on BitChute.com. Cliff puts out something, I believe it was in December, Shadowlands. Oh, yeah. So these two videos here, guys, if you haven't seen that, go check it out. It was really interesting. And I think it leads into what you're saying now, too. We're going through this transition period where we don't really know what we're looking at right now. We have to plan for the inconsistencies perhaps of this huge transition, and then maybe, as you're saying here, by March we're going to start seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. But for now, the fog of woo is really, really thick. So guys, go check out these videos. But Meg, talk about that right now, the alignment that's putting us into this woo period where nothing is solid around us. We can't hang our hats on anything. We don't know what's what anymore. And for a lot of people, that's creating a huge, huge stress, not just on the physical body, on the mental and spiritual bodies as well. How do we deal with that? What would you recommend to the audience members as we're going through still this Shadowland period, to maybe prep for that as best we can, to maybe sit back, do a sit rep, see what's really going on before we react, but also in a way to position ourselves to the other side of the Shadowlands where we can really hit the ground running here as we start seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. Go ahead.
So I'm noticing with myself and also a lot of us, we're taking in so much information all of the time. It's like nonstop, keeping up with what's going on, keeping up with the next story, you know, and we're not really being present. This is just what I'm currently feeling about our community. A lot of us are not being present and integrating what is actually going on. And that's okay. We've been through so much, you guys. Just let's take that in for a second. How much we've actually been through in the last 3 years. And if you think about it, when we get to March, isn't it interesting that that will be exactly 3 years since you know what started?
No,
right?
What are you talking about?
What is that? The thing, we got to be careful with our words on here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So we're at a 3-year point. You know, everything is cycles, everything is patterns in life. So now we're at this 3-year point, 3 years later of March 2020, when the whole world changed. And it's really been ever since then that we've been dealing with this shocking change. The world has not been the same, but there's still been, I was trying to describe that in the weekly forecast video I did the other day. There's still normalcy. There's still things that feel normal. You know, we can still go, well, some of us couldn't go to a restaurant for a while or a concert for a while, you know, depending on the decisions you made. But it's still, you know,
and I still can't go to the States, by the way. And Sarah's like, we're having fever. We want to do something, but we're
still going through that. But like, for example, what's coming to my mind's eye right now is like, we're still using the same credit cards. We're still using the same money. We're still wearing the same clothes. Like, there hasn't been some sort of huge drastic shift, which we are going to see in the coming few years. So we're in this middle point. And I was telling JC earlier that I keep seeing very strongly today in my intuition, like visuals of in the world wars, when it's that point when the soldiers have been fighting for so long and they're tired. And it's like, the world wars lasted, I think, 4 years both times, if I'm not mistaken. So imagine being at that 2-year point when it's the winter and you're tired and you haven't seen your family and nothing's been normal and it's just been a total dark night of the soul, yet you have to keep going and you're not even really close until the end. That's what I feel energetically we're in right now.
Yeah.
So being in that, we have to carve out time for self-care. It's not coming to us on a silver platter. No one's going to say, hey, JC, here's some time for you where nothing crazy is going to happen that you're not going to be feeling. Here's your time. That's not going to happen for a while. So we have to make that self-care time ourselves, that pause time ourselves, because we're in a greater cycle of really since 2019 when the energy started getting wonky with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction that happened at the beginning of 2020. So I really feel like self-care is so important, you guys. And I know that that's a trendy word that's thrown a lot in our conscious community, like self-care, love yourself, all that. But I feel like it's so important to do right now in whatever ways resonates with you,
And I know a lot of people in the community are already doing that, and it's causing a problem. I'll explain what I'm hearing. So a lot of the freedom lovers, the fighters, the people who are out here day in and day out trying to educate people and wake up the masses to, perhaps what's been happening in the last couple of years. They're feeling tired, long in the tooth, as you said, and they're taking a few moments here to kind of recharge. And as they're doing that, their fellow friends, family members, colleagues are saying, oh, you look distant. You're not there anymore. What's going on? And it's kind of like causing some friction in couples and all that stuff. How do you deal with that there too? Because like you say, self-care is not all this lovey-dovey stuff. Sometimes it's like tough love. You have to put your foot down and say, fuck this. I'm taking care of me for a while here before I can go back out and do work for the world. Are you seeing that too? Have you seen that experience there where people are taking maybe some time off and getting some flack for it maybe?
I really feel like this is going to be intense for me to say. I think we are in a collective shamanic initiation, dark night of the soul. And we're all going through that process at the same time as the Earth's frequency is shifting. So kind of like what's coming to mind, and I don't advise doing plant medicine unless you're totally with the right person and a shaman knows exactly how to do it. But the visual that's coming to mind is like when you're in like, an ayahuasca ceremony, for example, and everyone's having their own little freak out. You can't be taking care of everyone else when you're yourself having your own freak out and breakdown. So that's the point that we're in right now, is we're all in this dark night of the soul period. And it's kind of like also when you're on an airplane and you have to put your mask on first before you put someone else's, when the air pressure in the plane gets all wonky, we have to be taking care of ourselves first. We need to be making sure that our cup is full first before trying to help everybody else, which is so hard for us because most of us are empaths. So that makes it super, super hard. But I was mentioning to you earlier that I really feel that everybody's made their decision at this point, which Earth timeline they're going to go on. So we really don't need to be, in my opinion, trying to convince anybody of anything anymore. If family members and friends at this point still don't see what's going on, there's nothing, I'm sorry, but there's nothing that you can say. It's
the mold is set, so to speak. Yeah. It's really about us right now, focusing on our energy, focusing on who we are, the integration of you, as you just said, everything we've learned in the past little while here, and it's coming so fast and furious that it's hard to remember just how far we've gone in this road here in the last couple of years. And then from there, condense that into directionality here as to where individually we want to go, what we want as our future here on this planet, and what reality we want to create for ourselves. I think that's what it's all about now. And for some people that might sound egotistical, and I know for the audience members here, let me just touch on this before we go to the next point. A lot of them are feeling guilty for doing that right now. They're like, I don't like this. I'm usually the one that takes care of everybody around me, and when I don't do that, I don't feel good about myself. What would you tell those people right now, maybe to avoid that frequency bandwidth?
So there's many different words that we can use to describe the ones that have been in control on this planet for so long. I like to say the dark cabal. I hope that's okay for me to use that word.
Just say the bad people.
Okay, let's say the bad guys. The bad guys. That's light, right?
Yeah.
So the bad guys, when you really get into studying them, if you ever study how they work and they operate, they feed off of our fear, our guilt, our anxiety, our depression, right?
Yeah.
So we cannot, and nobody's perfect. I'm not saying, guys, be perfect. Don't feel guilt. Don't feel bad. But to be in that state for a long time of, I have to act this way because I feel guilty about it. I have to save this person or else I'm going to feel guilty about it. Let it go. That's a part of this matrix. Set them free. Let them go. They're a soul having their experience. Here on their earth journey, we're souls having our experience. And that's really what it is when it comes down to it. So let them go. Let them figure it out. You're actually gifting them. One of my shamanic teachers used to say to me, because that's been a really big issue for me on my path, is taking on other people's pain so that they don't have to feel it. And he used to say to me, Meg, that's their karma, not yours. And when you take it on, you're actually taking on their karma. And I really believe that. It's not, we all have our own journey, you know, take care of yourself first. And if people are open in some sort of way, like there's a difference between someone who's open and being like, JC, can you explain to me about, this thing that you've been talking about that I've been telling you is wrong and misinformation, but I'm starting to believe that maybe I was wrong about that. Can we get into that? There's a difference between someone opening up in that way, opening the door with you, having a breakthrough, and someone who's not open at all. Someone that you're trying all the time to do it. It's not happening. We can pray and we can send energy that it's going to happen, but to do every single day, that's not. Does that make sense what I'm saying? That the bad guys feed off of that guilt. They feed off
for
of
sure.
lower vibrations.
For sure. And that collectively, we have to learn how to do that, is turn off the spigots to those guys. And if we all did that, all of us on the planet at the same time for even 1 minute, we would starve them. Like, it's just so powerful. Absolutely.
And that's what the good news is that they are starving. That's what the good and funny news is. That's why they're so desperate to do all these things that they're doing, because they are starving. Their time is done. And that's the period that we're in. So we're just in this transitionary period where these guys that have been here for so long are about to be booted off.
Right. There's a saying in Taoist terms, something to the effect that you can't put clean water in a dirty glass. Okay, so you're polluting the water with your dirty glass, and that has something to do with manifestation also. So if you have an intent to create something, you have to come at it from as pure of source or an idea or a feeling or emotion as possible. And by that I mean one that has not been pre-programmed for you to create the prison in which you're going to continue living. And that's the story of this planet. Soul Rebel on the show, on the screen here is saying, hey, we are deprogramming from the system. Let's talk about that here also before we get into manifesting our destiny. How do we go through this process right now? First, we have to integrate, as you said, what we've already learned, but we still have some residual programs that no longer benefit us, that were programs inculcated in us to, make us create the prison here of our own society. How do we go through deprogramming perhaps those last vestiges of the program and the matrix of control here on the planet. What would you say to that? And is there astrology right now also, or alignments that are conducive to doing exactly that?
I think we are all exactly in that right now, whether we want to or not.
Mm,
With Pluto being in the last degrees of Capricorn right now, right? So Pluto, planet of transformation, detoxification, power. In Capricorn, where it's been for the past, I believe, 20-ish years, our governments, our systems, the matrix. If there was a sign that would rule the matrix, it would be Capricorn, the
mm,
programming, right? So Pluto is going, we're done with this. We're flushing this out. We're detoxing this out. And whenever Pluto is in the first or last degrees of a sign, it's at its strongest. So this year, 2023, this Gregorian calendar year, is the last year we're going to have Pluto in Capricorn for, I believe, 242 years. The last time we had this transit, there was, the Civil War in America and all this stuff that happened and detoxing
mhm.
again. So every time we have this transit, it's major detoxification of governments and countries and all that. So we can consciously deprogram by, one way that I would do that is to go into my own private space, a meditative space, maybe with a journal, and just ask the universe, your guides, your ancestors
Hmm.
to be there with you and help you deprogram, and just
Mhm.
maybe put on some nice music and just see what comes up.
Mhm.
Universe, ancestors, please show me any programs that I may be holding right now that aren't in alignment with my highest good anymore,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's also just naturally happening. And so I also think that being connected to like-minded people in person, which I've really been noticing also as a theme in the consultations I've been doing so far,
Right.
is for us to be getting in person together. There's a power in that. There's a huge power in that. And that is something the bad guys do not want us to be doing right now at all.
Mhm.
Like when
Mhm.
you said, if we all, even for 1 minute, didn't feed them anymore, imagine if all of us started getting in person more.
Yeah, exactly.
What would happen then?
The scalar effect of that energy. I had Carrie Cassidy on for this book Decode when she published it, The Rebel Gene, and she
Mhm.
was talking about exactly that, how the social distancing came at a time where human consciousness together was
Mhm.
reaching this critical mass here in terms of scalar effect of this energy. And of course, that's very disastrous to all of them. And
Yeah.
now we're not even on the heels of this first 3 years on the issue, that they want to create another issue to again lock us down
Mhm.
and keep us away from each other. Going back to what you just said, you talked about music to kind of figure out perhaps how you want to deprogram what universe wants to tell you and where you have
Mhm.
to find yourself here moving into this new world of ours. I have two questions for you. One,
Yeah.
talk about how in astrology, the South Node and your North Node have an effect on your past lives and where you're supposed to be today. And
Mhm.
how, for some people right now, as you mentioned, December 12th was awakening period for a lot of people. March of 2023 is probably also one of those big catalysts for those who haven't jumped in yet to that transition between those two nodes into
Mhm.
getting into their mission in this life. Speak about that first, and then I'll bring up a concept here in Manifest Destiny about the triune human and our 12 other selves here. So let's talk first about those two nodes and
Yeah.
see how we can give advice to people here who haven't already made that jump here into that life mission for this particular incarnation.
Right. So every astrologer is different, but for me as an astrologer, I always say to everyone that you have four most important placements in your chart: your sun, your moon, your rising, or we also call ascendant, and then your north node, south node. It's extremely important. The south node shows our most recent past lives. It's a theory called evolutionary astrology, the north node and the south node. Our south node shows our most recent past lives on our soul's incarnational journey and the themes of those past lives, what we've really played out for lives over and over again, the themes of the sign that the south node is in, and the themes of the house that the south node is in.
Mhm.
And we are not here in this life to really focus on the south node anymore. the qualities of the sign that the South Node is in, I like to think of it as like a toolbox. It's our toolbox, whatever sign that is, that we're bringing into this life that we've really mastered.
Right.
And now the North Node, with our toolbox of our South Node gifts that we've mastered, we're here to focus on the sign that the North Node is in, the qualities of that sign, anything that has to do with that sign, and the house. So there's a book, I tell everybody about this. It's called Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. And it's one of my most favorite astrology books. And guys, if you're even not that much into astrology and you're like, what is my purpose? This book will give you the answers, because your North Node is your purpose and why you came here. The qualities of the sign that it's in and the house that it's in. This is an absolute must-have book, you guys, Astrology for the Soul. And it's very extended, long chapters, and it's so beautifully written. She's an amazing astrologer. So that's what I would have to say about that.
Okay.
And then for what you mentioned about, what was the other thing that you mentioned?
Oh, I'll set you up for the triunium here for a second here. So yeah, so guys, Indigo or Amazon, this is the book you're looking for, Jan Spiller, Astrology for the Soul. And if you, for the audience members who already have their birth chart, also we're going to bring up Julie's video on how to read your birth charts one-on-one for beginners here. So do go check that out. That's on the MAISON Jupiter YouTube YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And of course, if you don't already have your birth chart, you can find those here also on maisonjupiter.com. If you click on this link here at the top, a personalized birth chart, you can get this digital product here made for yourself. So you get a little bit more in-depth knowledge as to how all of these placements are affecting your current incarnation here on the planet. And again, Beyond Mystic, there is the coupon code in one word. It'll give you 10% off. The second part I wanted to ask you about, and thank you for that, I appreciate that. For a lot of people, they're just now getting into that North Node, understanding that they had that security, that knowledge in the South Node, and they were perhaps living still in that South Node portion of their life here. And for some people, it's the solar return that kicks them into the North Node, that first solar return, and some other, not a Saturn return. Is it Saturn
return?
Saturn,
yeah,
first
Saturn return. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so for other people, it's catalytic events similar to what you just said here, the shift of consciousness, perhaps in 2012. And of course, these last number of years also were very much a catalyst for change for a lot of people. So you talked about how to kind of focus on that, listen from universe. I wanted to ping this one by you also in the concept of the triune human, the knower, the doer, and the thinker. In the doer aspect, as it's written in Thinking in Destiny, you guys can go check it out here. I'm at the end of the page here. Actually, I want to talk about this too with you. Hold on a second. Do I have this on page? Oh yeah, I don't want to forget about this. So the zodiac wheel as it pertains to the human body, just remind me of that later. We'll get back to that later. But the triune part of it, when you go into the doer aspect, there's essentially 12 parts of our doers. And so I'm wondering, when Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this quantum jumping and meeting your other selves and pulling from those other selves knowledge there into this particular self, do you think that's possible? Is he getting into the doers? Is he getting into all the woo-woo about parallel universes and all that? Or is there something there perhaps that we can actually glean here that has nothing to do with your past lives or future lives, but perhaps this bigger portion of you, the triune human, that is ostensibly outside of your physical body? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, what is coming to mind when you're bringing that up is something that I really feel, which is that our spirit guides are actually us in other timelines, past lives, parallel, and future. So there's ones that'll come up at certain times. There's ones that are with us for our whole lives. But any time that you feel resonance with, you know, if you feel resonance with Lemuria or Atlantis or Egypt or Mexico, the ancient Mayan culture, you know, you've probably had a life there. So you can connect with all of those aspects, those lives, and bring them into now and see what they have to offer. Are those aspects of ourselves, the past, the future, and the parallel, and this is getting like really, you know, into the woo-woo, the parallel, right?
Yeah.
Your soul and the other incarnations of you have your best interest. That's why they're your guides. right? Angels
Okay.
are a little bit different because that's a whole other realm of like beings, right? The star people are a little bit different. That's a whole other realms of being. But I really feel like a lot of our guides are actually us on other timelines helping us now at this pivotal time on the planet.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's just what's coming to mind when you bring that up.
And do you do specific shamanic rituals, ceremonies, smudging,
Hmm.
meditations to call in these
Oh
guides?
yeah.
What do you do for that? Because you're new to the channel here, and I asked this question to a lot of our guests, and I asked because for everybody watching the show, everybody's unique and different. So for some people, meditation is very difficult; they can't be
Yeah.
there in that long period of time. For some other people, drumming really seems to work. What do you do to connect with all of these different aspects or higher aspects of yourself here?
Mhm. Something that I do all the time is called shamanic journeying. And this is something that can sound like really woo woo to people when they even hear that, like shamanic journeying. What the heck is that? Like a lot of people have a program that means to do plant medicine or ayahuasca or something. No, a shamanic journey has been done in cultures all over the world. And in the shamanic lineage that I'm a part of, which is Celtic shamanism, we have it too. And the indigenous people of the Americas have it too. And the Asia, people have it as well. And what shamanic journeying is listening to the beat of a drum, right? A hand drum or a bongo drum or a rattle, which the
Mhm.
drum is the instrument that connects us to the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And all the indigenous kind of cultures understood that. And when we listen to just the boom, 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 it connects us to Mother Earth, grounds us right away, and also puts us into a trance. So
Mhm.
what a shamanic journey is you can lie down or sit down. And if any of you guys want to try this, YouTube shamanic journeying, 10-minute, 20-minute shamanic journeying. The most popular one is to like meet your power animal. That's what a lot of people start off with. Shamanic journey to meet your power animal or shamanic
Wow.
journey to meet your spirit guide. So that's all on YouTube, you guys. Lots of good guided ones on there. But that practice of shamanic journeying, you get to the point where you don't need to listen to a guided one anymore, and you just put on a track either from YouTube or I still use CDs. I still like CDs, you guys. I think it's important for us to have CDs and actual CD players. Sorry, I'm going on another ADD note. But like
Okay.
today I bought an iPod because I got the intuitive message like we're actually going to need the real devices again and not
Mhm.
just the Wi-Fi and the Spotify. But anyways, sorry.
You're making a good point, and I'm a big fan. I still have
Yeah.
vinyl records too, so keep
Vinyl
going.
records, you guys,
Yeah,
vinyl records, CDs,
yeah,
get an iPod again, like seriously.
yeah.
So yeah, when you listen to the beat of the drum and then you start to learn how to do a shamanic journey yourself, which is you either go to what's called the lower world, the middle world, or the upper world. And there's different beings in each. There's different realms in each, right? So if we want to meet other parts of ourselves, we'd probably go to the upper world because
Right.
that's the realm and shamanism of our guides. Our ancestors are usually the lower world or the middle world. So if you want to connect to your ancestors, like you can YouTube shamanic journey, connect to my ancestors, shamanic journey, connect to my guides, right?
Right.
And this is my favorite thing to do. I do this all the freaking time, shamanic journey, all the time. You can do it on lands that you're on. If you're traveling, if you go to a sacred site, you can shamanic journey into the sacred site and see what comes up for you. And, some of us are very clairvoyant. So maybe we're very visual. I'm like a very visual person. So I can imagine easily and visualize easily. Some people are not like that. Some people are clairsentients. These are the psychic clairs I'm talking about, you guys, like your psychic abilities. So the clairvoyance, the clear seeing, clairsentience, which is feeling in your body,
Mhm.
claircognizance, which is just psychic knowing, and
Mhm.
clairaudience is hearing. So we all have psychic senses, and some of us have some of them more open than others. And shamanic journeying, you can see which ones are the most open. It's like, okay, when I'm listening to the drum beat, am I imagining things, which actually our imagination is our intuition in shamanism, right? So
Right.
my imagination, okay, am I seeing things or am I just feeling things or am I knowing things or am I hearing things? So that's one of my most favorite things to do is shamanic journeying. So I'd highly suggest doing that to meet guides, parallel guides, future guides, past lives, all the stuff. I recently had a new guide come up. I went to a friend's solstice sound bath last month. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to relax. But I'm so visual that usually I'm always kind of seeing things. And sometimes it's a little overwhelming for me. But I was at my friend's sound bath and a new guide came forward. And he was Mayan. He was a Mayan astrologer. And his one message, he just kept saying over and over again, Meg, you need to actually be learning how to look at the stars, not just the astrology on your computer. And he just kept saying that to me. So it's like, okay. And I believe that he is me in another life. So I was like, okay, thank you for showing up. So when something like that happens, where a new guide comes forward, whether it's when we're in meditation or dreams, or we're just feeling a new guide energy around, we can do shamanic journeying to keep that relationship going. You can do a shamanic journey to the upper world to go connect with them. And it's a whole process, you guys, but I highly recommend go try. There's guided everything on YouTube and Spotify and all that. And it's an amazing
really
practice.
I absolutely love this. Okay, so Miss Kimberly B, she says, guys, this really doesn't suck, right? Take that, Netflix. So yes, thank you. I'll take the compliment there. There are still some good pockets on Netflix. And talking about what you just mentioned now, we have to look at the stars. Guys, if you haven't seen Ancient Apocalypse here with Graham Hancock on Netflix, do go check it out. He's getting a lot of heat for a lot of the stuff in this documentary. I want to have him on with Jay Widener here soon on BeyondMystic to get into that. But a theme that comes out of this study of ancient humans is this knowledge of the stars. It keeps coming up and keep coming up. So it's funny that your guide is bringing that up now too. We're being called again to look at the stars and to perhaps to understand why the things are happening the way they're happening now on the planet. That makes a lot of sense to me. So anyways, guys, do go check that out. I thought that was absolutely funny. And somebody else had another comment. Let's see if where did it go? You guys are scrolling by so fast. Hold on. Maybe I started. Meg and Janine together can write a mind-blowing book together. Yes, absolutely. Wow. That'll be interesting. If you haven't seen the inaugural show with Janine in December, you can find that on Rumble. For some reason, we're not allowed to have so-and-so you guys know why. But what's interesting also, as you mentioned, that what's coming up that I think you guys will absolutely love, another collaboration here with Meg, it will be this one here with Julie at Maison Jupiter on YouTube. So you're looking for this next upcoming show here called the Astro Decode with Julie and Meg. This is going to be, I believe, the 18th. Yeah, the 18th of January at 4 p.m. Eastern. Do you want to give us a little bit of a hint of what you guys are going to be decoding here? You already have notes. Is that all secret? What do you think?
Oh, no. No, it's not all secret. I'm really, okay, I'm a Scorpio, but I'm so bad at keeping secrets. So just so you guys all know. But yeah, we're going to get into 2023, the astrology of 2023. There's so much coming up this year, you guys. It's insane. So we're going to be, Julie and I, getting into that. I'm so excited. One thing that I will mention is, every year we have eclipse seasons. I've been feeling this so strong. And we've got the first eclipse happening April 20th, 2023. And it's going to be a new moon solar eclipse in Aries, 29 degrees Aries. Which
Sorry,
Julie,
what date was that again?
April 20th, 2023.
Okay.
So Julie and I will get more into this, but I'm really feeling like this eclipse is going to be so strong because we've got Jupiter just went into Aries December 20th, 2022. So thank God one of the outer planets is now in a fire sign for a little bit, because what we've been going through since I think 2019, if I'm correct, is all of the outer planets are not in fire signs. So that's why it's like serious business, dark night of the soul. There's no fun. Where's the fun? So that's the fire sign. So it's not going to be until 2025 when the outer planets go into fire signs again. But so we got Jupiter in Aries right now. That energy is bubbling up. Jupiter is the biggest planet, right? So whatever, and Jupiter rules expansion. So whatever Jupiter is in is really strong energy. So it's in Aries. This first eclipse is going to be in Aries while Jupiter is in Aries. And then in July, the nodes shift from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. So and Aries, JC's an Aries. So a big theme for 2023 is this Aries energy. And if you know anything about Aries, it is the complete opposite of what we've been going through these past 2 years with Jupiter and Neptune, the planetary rulers of Pisces, in their home sign of Pisces. Pisces is brainwashing and mind control.
Right.
And we've seen that like we've never seen before. There's many positive parts of Pisces, which is spiritual awakening. And so many people have been connecting spiritually than ever before. But the dark side of it is a lot of people getting brainwashed and mind control and all that. So this Aries energy coming into 2023 is a lot of our brothers and sisters on the planet that have really gotten swept up in that Piscean frequency are going to wake up all at the same time.
Oh.
And the eclipse is going to be so strong. And this is just my intuitive read on it. But I think that eclipse, some event may happen around that eclipse, or it may just be an energetic thing where so many people, normies, if you will, like wake up at the same time. And we're going to have to be there for them. And it's going to be really intense.
Wow. Okay. You must be following some of the work of Cliff High too. Guys, if you go check out the great takeover plot of 21.
I have never listened to Cliff High. No? Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
No.
Well, he's also talking about, and I think I saw that in another Substack too here, that we could be a little ways away here from a lot of chaos where people are waking up and maybe taking charge. And in some extreme cases, maybe vigilantism here against some of the power structures. That was coming up in the Webbot data a couple of years ago. But what he's suggesting here is that looking at everything else, temporally speaking here with all the other markers, we seem to be entering that period. It makes sense now also looking at the astrology. It seems to be backing up this Aries god of war energy here in the human population. Old Dog says Cliff High is the best. Yeah, I agree. He's a really cool guy. What else did I have? I brought up something else here. Hold on a second. So that was okay. So let me just bring up this link again here before I forget. This is the Astro Decode. I'll bring the exact video link down in the live chat for you guys now if you want to go click on that and set a reminder to not forget that episode. And while I'm there, also on Maison Jupiter, earlier today, I have it, if I haven't already mentioned it, where did it go? Probably in videos. Julie posted Sophie's first weekly pick a card video. This is a brand new series for 2023. Really, really cool concept here, the pick a card. Go check it out. First episode here today. And I'm assuming here weekly also moving forward every Thursday. So there's a lot here coming up on Maison Jupiter here on YouTube for 2023. So make sure to go there and subscribe to check out all of that unique content. Really, really well set up for you guys. And of course, the beautiful graphics there. Julie's doing an amazing job behind the scenes. And somebody asked earlier, let me see if I can bring this one back up. We love MEG Moonbeam. She rocks. Love MEG Moonbeam. So glad she joined the tribe. Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen so you guys can see them. I'm reading these starred comments from earlier. Thank you so much. Annette, merci beaucoup. Love MEG. I had an amazing session with MEG on Saturday. Thank you. Very insightful and educational. That's awesome. And then Annette says, hey, can we ask MEG some questions? MEG, do you want to take some questions? We're 48 minutes in. I do want to talk a little bit more about the manifesting here. We've set up the table for that. And then maybe we'll take a few questions at the end. But there's another question from Annette here. She says, JC, is MEG married? I have 2 single sons. Okay, Annette. I believe I met Annette. Was it Annette? No, maybe I'm not sure if it's her. We were in Ottawa.
The meet and greet that you guys did.
Yeah. I think I might have met Annette. Where's that picture? Where did it go? Oh, I don't have the group picture anymore. But I have this. And I have to tell you this here too. This video that we did on YouTube for New Year's was pulled, and a few other YouTube videos. So we're still having some issues when a certain person is here on YouTube with us. For some reason, apparently she's allowed to be on other shows. A lot of people are allowed to duplicate her content on YouTube. They don't care about that. But when she's here, it seems to be an issue. So if you're still looking for these episodes, they're now located on free, of course, on our Rumble channel. So go check it out, and I'll bring up the Rumble show from earlier today. And let me bring the link down if you haven't seen it there, and you can go and subscribe there and find those videos. Unfortunately, that were deleted here on the YouTube side of things. Okay, before we get okay, so guys, if you have questions for Meg, now's the time. Of course, I do appreciate all of you if you're wanting to tip in the tip jar. Really appreciate all of your support, and please put your questions in high caps. Also, help me pull them out here. But in terms of manifesting destiny here, as we're seeing this new alignment, you and I talked about this, that in December there was this big change where suddenly universe is going to have this wheel of fortune and favor the people who are more spiritual, more service to others, and conversely speaking, make it a lot harder for the people who are not here moving forward. Speak about that, and speak how for those in this community that are in that category of people of service to others, how they have to reboot also from the old world and get into the mindset of creating their own abundance here as we move into this new structure where a lot of the previous structures that we relied upon are not going to be there. So it's very much going to be, as Cliff High says, the make a way civilizations were there now. Talk about how the astrology, how can we harness and marshal that energy into our own creational force here moving forward.
So there's really so many different things happening at the same time. And Julie and I will get into a lot of it in the Astro Decode video we'll do on January 18th. This is not normal astrology that we're in at all. This is a once in a, not even lifetime, once in a great age time. Like we are shifting ages. We are shifting galactic ages from the age of Pisces, 2,000 years, to the age of Aquarius, another 2,000 years. And in this transition, where right before Pluto's about to go in Aquarius in March, and when Pluto first starts being in Aquarius in 2023, it's a little bit of a chaos energy in the sense that so much is falling apart. And we are in that collective dark night of the soul, that when we're in a chaos energy in magical practices and kind of paganism, shamanism, that's actually a really great time for manifestation. When there's a lot of energy moving around and a lot of things happening at the same time, there's a lot we're letting go, but there's so much opportunity in the energy of actually chaos. I know that sounds strange, you guys, but just this time we're in, it is what it is. So it's really a time of manifesting your destiny, the title of this show, and just going for it. The world needs you to be doing your gifts. We are getting out of the program that we have to be doing a 9 to 5 and we have to be doing things a certain way. We're stepping back into a magical time on the planet of being in alignment with nature and the natural rhythms again, and our own unique gifts coming to the table and showcasing that, you know? And I've been really thinking about the past couple of weeks a lot about how when we lived in more natural times, particularly in the ancient times and the great ancient civilizations, from the moment we were born, we were recognized through our astrology and through not even just our astrology from the moment we're born, what the medicine people said, what the mystics said, what the midwives said when someone was born, and we were nurtured from birth in our gifts. So I've been noticing in consultations that a lot of our wounds as empaths is that we haven't had the support in who we are as the mystics, as the way showers. That's what we are. And
well, we were burned at the stake for that in our past lives.
Right.
So right, we need to get back into that frequency.
Right.
Of course. Keep going.
And what we're stepping back into with this new Aquarian age is we're not going back into medieval times. We're not going back into like exactly what ancient Egypt was or something like that, but we're coming back into alignment with the natural rhythms and ways of, yes, when the new babies are born from birth, we will have their astrology. We will have people saying, oh, I'm feeling this about the child. We had a dream about this with the child. You know, we don't have that anymore. So most of us, unless you were very, very blessed, we weren't nurtured as children and teenagers as the mystical ones, as the creative ones, as the innovative ones, which I know a lot of us are. together listening to this right now. So it's us having to nurture ourselves to step into that. And that's going to be a big theme of when the North Node goes into Aries. And that's what Aries is. Aries are the initiators. Aries don't need someone to say, hey, JC, you should really let me push you in this direction. You guys push yourselves into whatever the heck direction you want to go in. So we're all going to be initiated by Aries, with the North Node going into Aries, with that eclipse in Aries in April, which is just go for it. Just do it. Just put the time into it. What you want to do, just do it. The world needs your gifts, and you will be supported in abundance by following your gifts. Wow. What you love is your gift to the world. It really, really is.
What you love is your gift in the world. That's a soundbite right there. Something else you just said about it's your time. We have to create. A lot of people are still talking about Cliff High in the chat here. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, yes, go check out this Substack. This was from May 2022. And he's explaining what Meg is just saying now here, how we all have to pick up le flambeau, pick up the flame or the torch here, and we have to make a way each other. And what you just said now about our joy is our gift here of what we're bringing towards humanity is so important. Let me bring that link down. I want all of you to go read that and share that with your kids also, as we're looking at the young people here to help us create this new world. They have all of these new ideas, and perhaps they're not as programmed as we are, the older people here in several generations here, having to deal with all of this cognitive dissonance load, but all of this brainwashing and the subversion of our language, as we've seen here over the last number of decades. Hopefully we still have a shot with our young kids here to reboot them once this system of control and this paradigm is over. And so it's really exciting to bring the kids to bear and their creational forces to bear here with us as we all kind of step into this brand new world. So your mission, if you choose to accept it, go read Cliff High's Substack. You'll find that article absolutely amazing. Laura in the PayPal tip jar, she says, I have a solar eclipse in conjunction with my birthday on April 19th, 2023 at 29 degrees, Meg, same as the sun on my birthday. Advice, please, and thank you. Okay, so very, very specific, powerful day coming up for Laura Keys here. What type of advice would you want to give her, or anything else she needs to know about these alignments on how perhaps she should navigate all of this?
Right. So this message is going to be for you, Laura. Her name's Laura, right?
Yep.
And anyone that's going to be born. So I'm going to tell you guys the eclipse dates of 2023. So listen up, everybody, okay? If you are born 5 days before or after an eclipse, your birthday, your solar return is what's called an eclipse solar return. Your whole next birthday year, from your birthday to the next one, that solar return year, we call it in astrology, is going to be an eclipse energy for the whole time. I'm actually going through this right now. My birthday was October 30th, and we had an eclipse on, I think it was October 25th. So it's 5 days right after.
Yeah.
And your whole life changes. It's a life-changing year. Every aspect of your life changes. It's an amazing time for manifesting your destiny, going towards your dreams, making any changes you need to make. So if your birthday is 5 days before or after April 20th, 2023, May 5th, 2023, October 14th, 2023, or October 28th, 2023, 5 days before or after those 4 dates, April 20th, May 5th, October 14th, October 28th, you are having an eclipse solar return. So eclipses are the portals in the year where we have the greatest changes collectively and personally, depending on where it's hitting us. So Laura, it's hitting your sun. It's hitting your solar return. Your sun sign is you, your basic identity, your whole way of being in life. So it's going to be a life-changing year. Wow. Absolutely life-changing. Use that energy.
Yeah, very good. That's Lakeside Laura, I believe, the same person here. Yes, mind blown. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wow. Crypto Farmer, he says, I rarely miss anything JC provides. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Loyal fans there. There you go. Where's the tip jar, Amanda? I don't have a tip jar. Well, we have a tip jar. Okay, hold on. Let me bring that one
It's
back
in
up.
the description, isn't it?
Oh, maybe it is. Yes, you're right. Actually, let me bring the link down in the live chat also for people. And somebody else was asking. Okay, so here's a link. PayPal tip jar. And somebody was just asking, maybe they're new to the channel here, but they're like, where's this super chat? We don't have super chat. We were demonetized. This is the third time we reboot this YouTube channel and they don't let us monetize. So a big thank you to all of you guys supporting the show. Amanda, it just is what it is. But I appreciate that. But yeah, the PayPal tip jar works, and there you can put a question in the chat also. Okay, well, that was fascinating. I really appreciate that, Meg. And one thing that seems to be coming up here during our live chat, people are really tuning in to the frequency of your voice and to the deep knowing that comes out of your answers. I think that's really impressive. And I want to say also that Julie and I recruited for a couple of months here to find another astrologer to come to the Maison Jupiter family and the Beyond Mystic office. And we interviewed a lot of them. A lot of them were amazing. They had all of this amazing astrological knowledge and content, but they didn't embody the information the way you did. And the first time we saw you and had the first conversation with you, we were like, oh yeah, she's got the royal jelly or the goo that puts it all together on the screen. And so, yeah, yeah, Meg is freaking
That's
out of
very
this
sweet.
world.
Thank you, guys. You're sweet.
Okay. Very good. Guys, let me scan again. If you have any questions for Meg here in the YouTube chat, please put them in caps here. We're almost out of time for tonight. We're already at the hour mark. I'll try to see if I can grab one or two. While I scan for the chat, Meg, is there anything else that you think is important for us to know right now, either specifically with respect to this week, maybe this month or this year, or just generally speaking, as the human condition is about to change here, is already changing for all of us who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear this. It's already changing, but it appears to be accelerating. As you said here, universe is not going to give us a break. And in one of those Substack audios from Cliff, he said at some point too that, you know, how war has these cycles where you go attack, and then people like we calm down, we recoup, we help the wounded warriors, and then we go back to this other. He says those lull periods are going to get shorter and shorter, and those peaks are going to get higher and higher as we go here. So it's going to be like really high for a period of time. Intuitively here, in terms of that change of the human condition and the stress that might put on our human bodies or physical, spiritual, and mental bodies, what would you say to the audience members here, generally speaking, on how to navigate all that and how to be kind with ourselves and the people around us and really, really stay focused in this transition period?
So I would say two main things. Number one, try as best as you can to listen to your body. And when you start feeling in the physical body overwhelmed, so anxiety or stress, or your heart is beating faster, your breath is going faster, stop whatever you're doing. Stop looking at social media. Stop listening to anything. Because I know a lot of us truthers were like keeping up with every single thing that's going on, right? It's like, stop. Go outside, connect with the earth, and just be present. And I don't know if we still have time to do it today, JC, but there's a little practice that we can do that helps us to release energy that we're holding on to that may be giving us anxiety or, stress. We need to find
Meg, there's always time for that here on
always time for that. Okay, so maybe we can do something. But the second thing I wanted to say too is, and I feel this so strongly, and it's coming up in consultations, almost every single one, get together in person with your like-minded people closest to you in the actual physical proximity to you, and be together in person. Because we're so online all the time now and isolated a lot and disconnected. We're going to have to, I won't get into all the predictions, what Julie and I will talk about in the Astro Decode, but this is going to be a really big thing. In person, getting back to in person, getting together. And there's a reason why we feel so good when we're with people in group, and why sometimes we don't feel good when we're alone all the time. There's a reason why we're not naturally supposed to be alone all the time, So getting together in person is so big, and talking things out in person and having fun and doing ceremonies or meditations or high vibrational things, even if it's with one other person, that changes the world.
Yeah.
That changes the world.
Wow. I love it. Profound.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do a survey from the live audience members here. Guys, do you want to do a live, how do you call it? Do you want to call it a meditation or releasing? How do you call this?
I would say like a little healing practice.
Okay. So do you guys
Yeah.
in the live chat, yes or no, type yes or no. Do you guys want to do a quick healing practice here on this live show? And while we look for the answers for that in the live chat, you talked about the shamanic drumming as a tool, an effective tool here to communicate with your higher selves. Is that something that you and I could probably record and
Oh, yeah.
eventually put on the
Oh, yeah.
Academy? Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
For sure. Mhm.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. Discover Your Psychic Superpowers is the last workshop here that we loaded onto the Beyond Mystic Academy. More coming up there, including how to protect yourself from psychic attacks. I think that's the next one. And then there's a couple of other ones already in the queue, in process right now. I know that people are recording and working really hard, including Julie in the back end here, getting all of that stuff ready for you guys. And somebody asked earlier, hey, are you getting rid of Julie? Absolutely not. No. We're adding the beautiful Meg to the community because we have so much to do. And of course, Julie doesn't have time to do one-on-one consultations. And this is a big part of what you guys were asking us over the year, was to have somebody to do astrology with you guys one-on-one. Speaking of that, of course, coupon code BeyondMystic, one word, will give you 10% off here on the bookings at MaisonJupiter.com. So you can go check that out here on the web. Where are you at now in terms of bookings? If people want to book for you, what's the next available slots here? I know you're extremely busy, Meg. What's coming up here?
I think we've still got some April availability. So we're booked up all the way until April for both the 1-year personal forecast and the birth chart. So I think it starts in April, the availability for both of those. But we are going to offer priority booking at some point as well. So that'll be coming up some point soon for if people want to have a priority booking astrology session.
Right. So similar to what we have with Sophie right now, where she's also booked a couple of months ahead like this. She's opening up some temporal spots here to get you in sooner, but for shorter, sessions here for more emergency type of situation. So we're going to try to program that into the Maison Jupiter website also here for the astrology coming soon. Just maybe... how do you say that? Bookmark MaisonJupiter.com, or stay tuned to either here or the Maison Jupiter YouTube channel here for new developments on that. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat and it's a hell yes, hell yes, go. So I think everybody is very interested in doing this short little practice here with the audience members. What do we need to start up? How do you want to set this up?
Okay, so we can just take like 30 seconds or whatever, a minute. If you guys want to lie down, and you're able to lie down, or if you guys want to sit, or if you're feeling to stand up. Just as soon as I said that, notice which one you went towards. Did you want to lie down? Did you want to sit? Or did you want to stand up? So get into that position and we'll just get started. Okay, so get into a comfortable position and we'll close our eyes together. And this is a practice that you can do at any time to come back into center and to release energy that we're holding on to that doesn't serve us anymore. So just starting to take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. A few deep breaths. And just noticing how your body is feeling, whether you're lying down, sitting down, or standing. And then letting your breath return back to normal. Feeling Mother Earth below you, noticing beautiful Mother Earth below you that is always supporting us at all times, our collective mother. And this practice, we're going to be connecting to Mother Earth. And so just taking some moments to feel that connection between you and Mother Earth. feeling that connection is healthy and strong. Sending her love and gratitude for all that she provides, for having us here at this incredible time on the planet. And then being receptive and open to feeling her unconditional love coming straight back to you, to your whole body. Up through the bottom of your feet and filling up your whole body. Love from Mother Earth, support from Mother Earth. Breathing that in. Breathing it out. And we'll start to do a process where we're breathing in Mother Earth's loving, cooling, supportive energy and breathing out any energy from any part of the physical body that's feeling heavy. Anywhere in the body that we've been carrying pain, trauma, stress from particularly the past few years and all that we've been through. Breathing in Mother Earth's loving energy, breathing out any heaviness, any sadness, any grief, any pain, any depression, any loneliness, any feelings at all that we don't want to carry anymore. Breathing it out, and we're breathing it, handing it over to Mother Earth. And she gladly accepts anything we hand over to her for her to create into new life, for her to transmute into something new. So just taking some moments again, breathing in her loving energy, breathing out anything heavy, and remembering your heart, how strong your heart is, and if there's anything around the heart chakra that feels stagnant or heavy, just breathing it out, handing it over to Mother Earth. Feeling that release and noticing that love and that support that is always there from the Mother Earth, Great Mother. And then giving gratitude for this moment, for our connection together, to Mother Earth, to Father Sky, to our Sacred Heart. And when you're ready, just coming back into your outer awareness gently.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Meg.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to all the audience members participating here tonight. Absolutely love you guys being on the show. Thank you for being here for this inaugural show, Manifest Destiny, of course, with Meg Moonbeam. If you like this content and you want to see more, please remember to like, share, and subscribe here on our YouTube channel. Our third attempt at cracking the YouTubes, so to speak. Coming up next week, guys, of course, back on stage next week is the Divine Feminine Oracle shows on Tuesday nights. I also have Tuesday or Monday afternoon, actually. This is a different time slot here. We're trying to reach more of the European audience here by having an early live start time here with Penny Kelly and Julie for the next Breaking the Cloud. So that will be Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be bringing in some of the astrology here in context with some of the look-sees or the remote viewing look-sees of Penny Kelly here. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be at 4 p.m. on Monday. And I believe on the 26th of January, also coming up here, is the 4th or 5th edition here of the Nostradamus and the Vortex of Time show with Jay Weiner and Julie of Maison Jupiter. So you don't want to miss that. Guys, man, we're here. We're at the hour mark, of course. Thank you so much for watching. This was Manifest a Destiny with Meg Moonbeam. And of course, you can find her work here at MaisonJupiter.com, where you can have a one-on-one consultation. And also, please make sure to stay tuned for this upcoming show here on January 18 at 4 p.m. Eastern here, the Astro Decode with Meg and the wonderful Julie from Maison Jupiter. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Meg, for being on the show. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom with the audience members. I absolutely adore you. And I have to echo the same sentiment here throughout the live chat that you are an amazing addition to the team. And we're so honored to have you. And really, really cool to be able to have this collaboration with you as we all enter and push towards this birthing process of our brand new world. Thank you so much, Meg, for being on.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Bye.